Man, I cannot catch a break with this. Let's see. Let's see if we can make this work again. Can't catch a break on this. We're going to try this one more time. Sorry about that, folks. Come on, come on. We'll get to this, I swear. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think our internet is still coming back on again at this point, so I apologize for that. It's just being slow right now. I will drop a link to this in the old chat. There we go. Let's see if we can catch everybody else back over here. All right. Yeah, it's pains of all too well timed brownout. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Sorry about that, folks. This internet is really slow right now. Okay, there it is. Okay, let's just dig right in. If it wants to load. In the interim, let's look at some comments. That's a good thing to do, internet. In the immortal words of Steven Tyler, you're back. I'm back. The pains of is it worth a tease of some of your illustrations, Richard? Yes, that could be a good idea here. Okay, we're back on. Confetti Yank says, okay, I last mentioned I want Coaco throttle lock, which also acts as bar end weight. I have not seen one of those. Let's see. Trying to make sure we're all going here. Okay, so it looks like our Onshape is finally on board. So I'm going to go ahead and dig in because I want to get this. I want to do some design work. You got to give me 1 second here while I reconfigure everything. And we're off to the races. Okay, so let's go ahead and make these changes. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into the sheet metal model. So as some of you may know, Onshape obviously has designs in we're designing in 3D, and this is a part that has brakes in it, so or bends in it that you can see in the finished part. And when we send this out to the, we actually have the laser cutter has the ability to do these bends, so it's all one stop. They laser cut it and they put the brakes in for us. But I can design either in the 3D finished model over here, or I can go over here in the flat pattern that shows where the brakes will be. And for this work, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to work in the flat pattern because I'm just removing material, and it's going to be faster that way. And I know exactly what I want to take out. So we'll go ahead and get started on that. Down here at the bottom. So if you all remember, in the image I shared up here, we're going to take off a little bit of the leading edge there. So let's go ahead and do that. And to do that, I'm going to start a new sketch down at the bottom over here. So you see in this screen on the side, there's a what's called the feature chain. So we're going to add a new one there. It'll add itself right at the bottom. And I'm actually going to go over into the flat pattern. I'm going to add that sketch, and we're going to add it onto the top of the plane. So if you look up in this little window up here, it says Sketch 10, Face of Sheet Metal Model. So we've set where the sketch is going to be, and now we can start drawing. And I can actually make this a little bit bigger, so we can see a little bit more. And just so you know, up above it, those are all the bends. So the name of the bend, what kind of radius we've put on it, the angle, and the bend direction when seen from above. So we'll just go ahead and start designing. So we'll go. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually first going to use the existing, I've hit the use command, which means that when I select this, it's going to turn all the parts that I've selected into construction lines that I can use to draw. So you can see here they're turning black. They're all defined because this is a part that's defined. And I will do this one as well. Oops, not that one though. And one way you could do this is you could do only half of it and then just mirror it, but it's such a simple change that I'm doing that I'm not going to worry about it. And then we'll use the line tool, and I'm just going to stick a line kind of roughly where I think it needs to be. I will make it horizontal, and you can actually see it. I did define that as horizontal. It automatically it auto selected, but just to be sure, we can hit that line. Oh, you see there that little line there? I don't know if you can see. It's got a little gray box right in the middle with a horizontal line. That means that it is defined as horizontal. We can do that manually by going up here to the top and selecting. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Yeah, you can see it, I think. I should get one of those things that highlights the most red or something. I can hit that horizontal, and that will double. We know that it's defined as horizontal. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it tangent to these circles here, or to the radii at the outside edge, just because it'll look good that way. And so I hit the tangent, or I can just hit T as the keyboard command. If you're familiar with CAD, you know that. All these, actually, if you're familiar with CAD, it can be confusing because they're different commands than AutoCAD. But I can still remember both of them. And then we're going to extend this line out. So you see that? It just extended it out. And then we're going to extend this one over to it. It doesn't want to play. But we'll do it manually. And there we have it. Although it's not going to. There we go. There we go. So now we have taken off, and what I can do is, we'll see what the actual measurement of this is, but it looks pretty close to what I want. Actually, we're going to do tangent. Sorry. Come on now. There we go. And let's take a little measurement there and see where we come out to. 0.165. So that's a little bit less than the 1/4 inch that I was shooting for. So we may not be able to may not be able to make it completely tangent, which means that if you draw a circle around the existing radius, it may not be able to be tangent to that in the same curve. But that's okay. It doesn't have to be. We can make a different fillet at the end there. So I think it's actually what I'm going to do. So I'm going to delete this little bit. I want this thing to be a 1/4 inch off the leading edge because that's what Ryan asked for. So now that line is no longer defined because it's no longer tangent. I've removed that, and we're going to just set the distance at 0.25, and that might be too much. It might be too close to the hole. I think it's all right. That's 0.25 inches. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little curve here, and I'm going to make it and see it's auto-selected tangent there. You see how that turned orange, and there we have that. Not the most elegant corner there, but I can make it closer like that. Actually, we can make it tangent if there we go. So that actually is tangent to the existing curve. It just is like the radius gets smaller and smaller as it goes along. So there we have that. Now I'll make another one over here. And then we'll make it tangent. And again, like I said, you could mirror this. You could only do it on one side and then just mirror it to the other side, but it wouldn't be, I mean, this is just pretty simple stuff. So we do need to set where this is going to be, because it could go like that. I think I'm going to make it, I'm just going to set it where I like it. So I'll just measure over to this. We'll call it that, because that looks pretty good. It is tempting to make every measurement, just even if no one will ever measure it, come out to some kind of round number, but it doesn't really need to happen. There we go. Tangent. You can see it already selected for this line to be tangent to the horizontal. And then I'm going to measure over. Oh, no, I didn't measure there. I measure over from here to here. I think it was 0.529. Yes. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to hit confirm on the sketch, and then we are going to hit extrude up here in the corner, and we're going to hit remove. And watch it go away. Internet's slow today. There we have it. I'm gonna confirm that, and there's our new profile. Lickety split. Let's look at some comments real quick. Seth Mark says, I have a request. Premium Halcyon. I'd like an upgrade path for controls, hand controls, and brake calipers. That would be really cool. The touch and feel parts, like the controls, has for a long time we've been working on. We just haven't had time to put and the ones that we have work so well. We have not developed new controls. However, it's not like I haven't actually been thinking about it. This is a this would be a new. This is actually a clutch lever. You can see it's got the recessed place for the clutch NARP on the end of the clutch cable. So it would actually go like this for your left hand, if I can get it in the frame. But this is a machined piece of aluminum that we cut. We use a flat piece and then we put a beveled edge on it. And it actually came out pretty well. It's not cast like the ones you normally see. But this could be anodized, or it could be polished, or it could. For me, I kind of like the machine finish. This was not done in-house. It was done by our machinist down in New Paris. So we could do this. A lot more expensive than the ones we have now. I'll say that. But yeah, we're working on it. We're definitely working on it, and it would be really good to do that. I'm gonna keep on moving here. We're gonna add the 1/4 inch to the slot here, and then we'll be able to release this. So I'm gonna make another sketch, keep them separate, and that way I can find them later if I need to edit it. This one, why don't we go ahead and do a mirror function on this one so I can just show you what that looks like. So I'm gonna first off, I've got the sketch set. It's on the face of that part. I'm gonna create a construction line, and then I'm going to, let's see, how will I do this actually? No, I'm gonna use this and this, and then I'm gonna make a line between them. And then we can make our mirror line, no problem. So there's our mirror line. And now I'm going to, once again, I'm going to use the existing geometry, which is really weird. Why is that multiple lines? Sometimes I don't know why. I'm going to redraw those because I don't want to have multiple lines there. And because the ends are defined, it's going to be defined too. So there we have it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to extend that. So we'll put another construction line. I mean, there's a lot of ways I could do this. I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. There we go. We're going to make another circle here. And then we're actually going to make it tangent to those lines. We're going to extend these lines out. And it's still blue because I haven't defined the length. But that's what I can do now. We know we want it to be 1/4 inch further along. And again, there's a lot of ways I could do this too, but we're going to do it this way. I just made some little dots there, and we're going to measure between 2 points. And it's actually almost exactly 2.52, so it's almost exactly 1/4 inch, but now it's officially 1/4 inch. I can either extrude as it is there, or I can go ahead and delete these just to be clear what I'm doing. Oh, I don't mean to delete that one. For some reason it doesn't like that. Well, let's see if we can actually just extrude it away. All right, we're going to remove those just like we did the other parts. Wait for it to work, and there we have it. So now that slot is now 1/4 of an inch longer. Let's double check in the right direction. So we wanted it to go, yes, toward the thicker end of the material. We did that, and now we want to do it to the other side, but this time we're going to mirror. So I'm going to open up that sketch again, or make it visible again. So there it is. They automatically make the sketch invisible once you've closed the construction or whatever you've done with that sketch. So I make it visible again, and I'm going to mirror. But instead of mirroring a part or a feature or a sketch, I'm going to mirror the operation that I just did. So let's see it. I haven't actually. Yeah, feature. I've never done this in flat pattern. Feature, yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mirror a feature, and we're gonna go over to that chain of the feature chain that we were working off of over here on the side, and we're gonna select all the things that had to do with what we just did. So that would be the sketch and the extrude. So I'm gonna select it. Wait for the sketch to pop up. Go on. There it is. There's the extrude. Let's get the sketch on there too. Come on. Maybe it needs I can't remember. And now it's asking for a plane. So I have a line instead of a plane. So we need to go ahead and create a plane, which one more reason why maybe this wasn't the smartest thing to do, but we'll go ahead and do that. Point normal. Plane point. No, which one are we going to do? Line angle. So we select, make sure I'm doing this right. Point normal. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can do this mirror function here. It may not want to do it in the flat pattern. I think that's what we're running into here. Yeah. All right. I'm just going to, so what you can see what I could do there is if I create a plane, well, maybe I can. I want to make this work. So this is my plane tool. And no, it doesn't want to do it. Maybe 3-point plane. Let's see if it'll do that. Nope. All right. No, it doesn't want to do it. We're going to just do it the old way. Like I should have done the first time. Delete that mirror. We go back to the sketch, and we'll just mirror the sketch. How about that? So I go in here. You can still see the basic idea. I hit the mirror function, which is that middle line. And so I hit first of all, I hit the mirror function, then I hit the middle line, and then I select the entities to be mirrored, which would be all the new geometry that I've created. Let's make sure it worked. There it is. I'm going to confirm that, and I'm going to use the same extrude, and so I used the same sketch. I didn't create a new sketch. I'm going to use the same extrude that I used over here on this side as well. And I think it's going to work. All right. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. There we have it. I'm going to close out that sketch so you can't see it anymore. And there is the updated part. Took a while. Questions? Richard here going on tangents. Yeah, definitely. Confed Yank. Seth Mark says aftermarket or in-house. That's for the, I'm assuming you're talking about this. Maybe not though. This part will be in-house, the one that we're designing right now, of course. Confed Yank says an optional part, and I'm not sure if you're talking about, again, this bit or the part we're working on right now. This was designed originally as a way to kind of reduce the pull on the clutch, so it actually has a more pullback. So folks with smaller hands, I just haven't had time to finish the design. I should do more ramble streams. It would be an optional part at the moment, but yeah, it would be nice to have that standard, honestly. Confed Yank says, I'm just waiting for Richard to say, let me show you how I do this much faster by hand. Yeah, right. Drawing this by hand would be much more fun. Craig, yes, it would be. It would be a lot of fun. Actually, I have been doing a lot of drawing lately. Grant mentioned in there that I have been drawing a lot, and it's my drawing style, but I have been doing some fun hand illustrations for the upcoming Rambler's Companion book, which we're coming out with. I'm really excited about it. We've got it pretty much, I've got it written. Grant and I we need to spend some time formatting it, and one of the things that I've wanted to add are hand illustrations. And I've been able to work on a couple of those, and maybe here at the end I'll pull some of those up once we release this. I'd really like to get this released. It's already 7:55. Some of this may need to wait, but we'll at least release this part, or we'll see how close we can get. Richard Worsham is already in this part. I don't think I am. Maybe it's confused. Seth says, I was asking on the lever. Yes, that would be, if we had those manufactured, I don't think we would machine them in-house. We would have them done by our machinist. I'm not sure what you mean by in-house in that sense. But yeah, it wouldn't be something we would farm it to another supplier in terms of like a brake manufacturer. We'd probably machine those ourselves. Yeah, so depending on what you mean, yes, in-house. All right. Well, since the internet is not working for me right now, this whole, as I say, the technology either helps me or hinders me. Most of the time it hinders me. Why don't we look at some of those illustrations, because it's already almost 8 o'clock. And I'll give you a sneak peek at some of the illustrations that we're preparing for the Rambler's Companion. And I'm really excited about them. If I can find them. I saved them somewhere. Alright. So here's the first set. And the goal with this is that these will not be, this book is going to be for all motorcyclists, not just Janus owners. So we're not trying to make it too Janus specific, but there will be some Janus references, like this one, which of course is a Phoenix fuel tank, no longer in production, but it's kind of got a neat Dunstall style look, and I thought it would make a nice illustration. Fun line work. I did these at a pretty small scale, as you'll see. They're a little different. Anybody know what that is? Let me know. Sing out in the comments if you know what that is. They are not featured, at least on a Janus. There is one on our Paragon, which is the bike we built before starting Janus motorcycles. I'll come back to it. Let me know if you know what that is. Klaxon horn. No, it's not a horn, although it is similar. Intake trumpet, yes, or a velocity stack. There we go. Seth Mark and Multifarious both, and everybody knows what it is. That's a what I've always called a velocity stack, and it goes over the intake of a car or motorcycle, and you can actually tune them to for a number of things. Basically, it can change the flow of air into a carburetor. One of the things that's really interesting that we discovered with an intake with a velocity stack on a two-stroke is that if you have a big old carburetor, like on the Paragon, we had a 24 millimeter, which is a small carburetor for some people, but on a 85cc two-stroke, it's a giant carburetor. And you could, when you were riding it, or when you rev that thing up, you could see a plume of fuel vapor getting from blowback from the two-stroke, combustion process. And the velocity stack, we realized, was helping to basically trap a lot of that unburnt fuel vapor, which was pretty neat. And I think that's one of the things it's beneficial for, even on a four-stroke. Not an expert. We got a little motorcycle helmet and gloves. So we have yet to figure out where these will all go in the book, but the idea is that these are going to be very small kind of thumbnails, maybe at the end of a chapter. Very fun to draw. I love using a pen and ink. Used a fountain pen for those who were part of our conversation about that a couple of weeks back. This is a design that I kind of recreated from when we were first thinking about the Janus line and what kind of suspensions we were going to be using. I was looking at all different kinds of designs from yes, it is a Lamy. I see that comment there. This is the pen. I've had this for 11 years, almost as long as Janus. It's a Lamy Safari. This is not an expensive pen. I think you can get these for like $25. But it's a great pen. You can I don't know if you can actually see that. You can recharge it, which is great because if you use a micron, the little micron pens, they run out of ink so quick, especially if you're doing a lot of inking like this. This is a fun one. So this one I actually stole from one of you all post, and I can't remember. It was on the live stream last week, the Janus factory tour live stream. One of the owners posted a picture of this beautiful gas station, and so I kind of modified it a little bit. I gave it I gave it like 1970s fuel pumps instead of 1920s ones, and put what is that? A Honda CB750? I don't know. Underneath the cover. I thought it was too picturesque not to. And then a little campsite. We're trying to get into this, the whole, all the things that happen when you're rambling. Spark plug. That one was really fun. It's the drawing is about that big. In a car for some reason. I was messing with cars. And then some bacon on the fire. Is there any other ones? Oh, yeah, this one's good. The armchair rambler, which is such a wonderful part of rambling, is planning what you're going to do. That's actually one of the parts that I enjoy the most. So this guy's thinking through what he's what he's going to do. I mean, the planning part is almost as much fun as doing it in some cases. I mean, not always, but let's see. Comments. The hat? I'm not sure. Maybe we were talking about the velocity stack. Fountain pen drawing is certainly a style of art. Yeah, I just like it because of the way the ink flows. It's very easy to draw. Craig says, can customers submit illustrations? I don't know. That's a good idea. If you're as bad an artist as me, then maybe, yeah. Confed says, sure, it's not a Janus owner with the camping. Yeah, well, I mean, this is geared toward Janus owners. Seth says, Janus ADV, that's jumping the shark. And Craig says, that was your campsite by the lake in the snow. Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close. I didn't draw the snow in there yet. But anyway, there we have it. Oh, and this is the image that I should say that is our new thumbnail and background for the show, which we can zoom back over to, or I can actually remove this window, and I can actually remove this one too. Check this out. Getting better at this. This image is also a drawing I did. This is the first watercolor rendering I did in architecture school, and we were assigned to design this Doric edicule. So this is an edicule, this little piece here, and I actually ended up designing the whole building. But kind of what you see, it's a much larger image that this is taken out of, but you can kind of see some of the details of the. There's even the plan of it down below, and I could not help but insert down in the corner there. That's my vintage 1978 Garelli Super Sport moped down in the corner that I rode every day, and I had to stick it in the bottom. And so I thought it was a fitting image for us here. This is all hand drafted and watercolor rendered. This was the first one we did, so at this time we were not trained to use multiple colors. So this is a monochrome, just a black ink with different degrees of pigment in it to do this illustration. So this has been a little bit broken up by our internet issues, but I've enjoyed it nonetheless. I'm going to call it a day, an evening here. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I think we'll have more design work to do next time. Sorry we didn't get to finish that one, but we will come back to it. Thanks again, and